Okay, so now we're going to pick up, we're doing the formatting with CSS part 2 video, and we're going to finalize our page and get it to look like, you know, this final version here. Okay, so one thing I will tell you is I don't really care for the size of the contact me. I like the size of the links up here in the nav. You know, they're nice and eye-catching, but the contact me is a little bit too big. Generally speaking, the text in our footer is smaller than the rest of the text, so I'm going to go ahead and change that. Okay, in order to do that, I'm going to use the font size rule, and I'm going to set it to 12 pixels. Save it, refresh. It's what you always do. You save and refresh, save and refresh. Okay. So that's a much better size to me. Okay, so the next thing that I think at when I look here, I'm not a fan of the underline. I don't care for it. I like a clean look with no underline. I don't mind if when you hover over it there's an underline, but I don't like it when it's visually there's an underline showing. That's just me. You do not have to apply these rules, but me specifically, I don't like it. So what I'm going to do is, you know, in the external style sheets, we created an external style sheet, and we had these rules that were added for removing the underline, removing the text decoration. So I'm just going to copy those, and I'm just going to put them here, okay, at the very bottom, because they kind of have a different format than element selectors or class selectors. So I'm just going to have them at the bottom. Okay, so basically a link just in general is going to have no underline. When it's visited, it will still have no underline. However, when I hover over it or when it's active, it's being clicked, it will then have an underline. Okay, so I'm going to save that. I'm going to refresh it, and I like that look a lot better. Okay, but I will tell you I'm not a fan of the color here. Okay, these colors to me don't go with my color scheme, so I just want black text. So I'm going to come up here into this A link, and I'm actually going to stack it since it's going to have two. So I'll just stack, and then I'm just going to use color. I want black. I think black would look best. Okay, I'm going to save that, refresh, and there we go. I like the look of that better. So we're really actually starting to get a lot more, you know, we're looking a lot similar. Okay. So, however, one thing that you'll notice here is these sections, right? This nav area, this section area, and this footer area, they've got some padding around the text. And I like that. White space is important. White space makes things easier to read, and it's something that you really need to think about as you are developing web pages. So I'm going to build in some white space. I'm going to make some padding. Okay, so I'm going to look here real quick. So CSS padding. Okay. And just go ahead and open that and take a look. I know how I want mine to be. I will tell you, padding comes in four types. You got the padding for the top, the right, the bottom, and the left. So basically, you can put padding all around your text. And so that's what we're going to do. Some things we might only pad top and bottom, but other things we're going to we're going to pad top, bottom, and right and left. Okay. So here we see that we've already got it centered, so I don't need to worry about any kind of padding to the right or the left. The text is already centered. I'm going to worry about the padding to the top and the bottom. Okay, so for the nav, I'm going to add some padding, and I'm going to try a couple. Let's see, I'm going to try padding top, and I'm just going to do try 10 pixels at the top, and then I'm going to do padding bottom. I'm just going to try 5 pixels. Okay, I'm going to save that, come back here onto the actual page I'm actually working on. And there we go. That looks a lot better. I like that. Okay. So then next thing I have to do is padding for the footer. And if we look here to the finalized, same thing, it's centered text, so I don't have to worry about the padding to the left or to the right. I just want to worry about the padding at the top and the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to come here and I'm just going to add padding for the top and the bottom at the footer. So padding, top, and I think I'll just do, let's see, what am I thinking? Let's just do 5 pixels. So 5 pixels. And I'm going to do top and bottom 5 pixels. Okay. I saved it. Let's refresh, and I've got just enough. Okay. I like it. It just looks clean. Oops. Wrong thing. Refreshing the wrong thing. Okay. Here we go. There we go. Now it looks clean. Okay. So, just a little bit more modifications to this and we're actually all done. So in order for it to have this same kind of look, I need padding at the top and the bottom, but I'm also going to put padding on the left and the right just to create that white space that is really, really important, okay? It's not really a clean look to have it just right up butted against the side of the browser. So up here in this section, I'm going to add padding to the top and the bottom, and then I'm going to add padding to the right and the left, or left and the right. So padding top. I'm going to do a pretty big number. Actually, no, I'm not going to do too big on the top and the bottom. I'll just do 10 pixels on the top and the bottom. So padding bottom. I'm going to do 10 pixels here as well. But the left and the right, I'm going to give a bit more padding, okay? I'm going to go with a little bit bigger. I'm going to go with 50 pixels, so padding. Okay. Now let's refresh this. And yeah, it is almost exactly the same. Let's go back and forth. And all that you can see difference between the two is the spacing here between our links. I like them further apart, okay? And so we could add the, the non-breaking space symbol, but I'm not a fan of that. After using about 5 of them in a row, they get kind of ugly, and I don't want to use them. So instead, what we're going to use is we're going to use that spacer image that we created in the very first video. We created a header image and we created a spacer image. So the spacer image is really cool because essentially we can add it and then we can specify its width and its height. Okay. So if we wanted to specify its height, in our instance, we're not. We're just going to specify its width. We actually will, well, we'll worry about that in a minute. So let's go image, source, and it is also in the images folder, and it is called spacer.png. Okay. I'm not going to add an title to it. It doesn't, you don't need to be able to hover over it to see what it is, but I will add the alt, and we'll just call it spacer image. Okay. And now I'm going to set the width to equal 10. Oh, okay. Let's type here. Okay. It's getting late. I guess I'm kind of done with HTML. Okay. So now the thing is if I just, well, I can't spell spacer either. If I just set the width, the height is going to automatically match the value of the width. Okay. I don't want that. If I have the height 10, it's going to change the nice look of my nav bar. So instead, I'm going to specify that I just want the height to be 1. Okay. So basically, this is going to take that 1 pixel by 1 pixel translucent, transparent image that we made in the video, and it's just going to stretch that, and instead of being 1 by 1, it's going to be 10 pixels wide by 1 pixel high. Okay, and doing that is just going to give me the spacing that I want. So let me close up this image tag so that the image tag is all nice. I'm going to get rid of this space. I don't need that space between the two, right? And then let me save this to see if it gives me the look that I'm looking for. No, what did I do wrong? I did something wrong. Spacer PNG. Give me a second. Okay, I see the error of my ways, and you probably remembered because you just made the video, or you just watched the video, but it's not spacer, it is space. So let's try that, see if this works. Okay, there we go. So it gives me more space, and I like it, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that same image to, you know, we've got this up and down bar here. I'm just going to add the image, you know, between each bar and text. Text and bar. Bar and text. I'm just going to give this little buffer. So I'm just going to copy this guy. And I'm just going to place it right here on the other side of the bar. I'm going to place it after. Okay. Take a look at that. Actually, I'm going to pull this out so that it looks a little cleaner for you. Wait, where did it look cleaner? It didn't look cleaner at all. Okay, you know what I'll do? I'm going to just do this to try to make it cleaner. How about this? Okay, something like that. Okay. So we've got the word home. So immediately after home, we place an image. That image takes us right up to the bar. And then right after the bar, we immediately add another image that takes us right up to the text for the next link. After the text for that link, we immediately add an image that takes us right to the bar. Right after the bar, we put another image that takes us right to the text of our final link. Okay, so let's see if that gives us the look that we want. So sure enough, we've got a nice, you know, spaced out look. Now let's see. Oh, that one's I actually spaced it out a little more in this one than I did in the other one. Interesting. What did I do in the other one? Well, it doesn't matter. I like 10 personally. You can kind of play with it as you want, right? And actually, to be honest, if you don't want the space between the links, you don't have to put them, okay? So with that, we are done with the formatting, okay?